Candace Owens just said it. One nation under blackmail. And I don't think she's wrong about that. I just think that the story goes deeper than politics or ideologies. It goes deeper than political influence. I think that the U.S. is being positioned yet again to sacrifice its sons and its daughters for another foreign war. Not for freedom, but for a foreign war dressed as loyalty and ideology. We see that the headlines are heating up about warfare in the Middle East, but the astrology is screaming. From April to June, Mars is going to be in Leo. Mars is a planet of war and will. And here's the crazy thing. I've talked about this wild synchronicity before, where you have Donald Trump's Mars in his 12th house here in Leo at 26 degrees conjunct Netanyahu's natal Mars at 26 degrees in Leo conjunct Israel's natal Mars in Leo conjunct 28 degrees. I mean, that's a wild synchronicity. And I've been trying to unpack this for a while now. I've even asked some astrologers to chime in on their thoughts about this, because let me tell you, this has hidden enemies and warfare written all over it. But I've yet to hear any constructive input on this particular aspect. That alone is enough, I think, to open any astrologer's eyes to the relationship going on between Trump, Israel, Netanyahu. But then you take what's happening with Mars coming into this sign, transiting Leo, April through June of this year. It's wild. I mean, when transiting Mars hits this, for these three charts, we're looking at a critical ignition point. Folks, this is not a mild coincidence. It's not even a coincidence. It's something very karmic. And it may have to do with the war pact. When Mars reaches these degrees in Leo in June, it is really going to light a match. Up until May 29th, Mars will be in the United States natal 8th house. And this is having to do with sacrifice, covert deals, and even blackmail. But at the end of May, it then shifts into the 9th house. And this has to do with foreign policy, beliefs, and war ideology. This is a classic setup for us getting pulled into a war that is not ours. I want you to understand that Netanyahu's chart astrologically is wired to extract power from the United States, with our sun being in his 8th house. His Mars, however, is in our 9th house. And that means that he's influencing our foreign actions. And when you look at where his moon is showing up in the United States 10th house, you can see he's stirring the public face of the U.S. leadership. Folks, this is not an alliance. This is an energy drain. Especially when you go back to that sun, showing that we are his source of power. Now, also notice that at the end of May, when Mars in Leo enters into the United States natal 9th house, it will be squaring the United States Vesta in the 5th house. 5th house has a lot to do with children, our legacy, youth, joy, happiness, creative expression. This is really the kind of alignment that asks a nation to give up its children in the name of an ideology. And if we don't wake up, we'll do it again. I'm urging you, don't take the bait. The phrase, one nation under blackmail, I don't think is just a theory, especially after I've gone and combed through all these charts. It seems to me to be an astrological truth. And when you consider that the United States is also in its Pluto return during this time, which historically is when nations tend to either transform or fall, this is a very serious omen. Then you also take into consideration that as I'm filming this, on the solar eclipse in Aries, as tomorrow Neptune is going in Aries, well, that is very much stirring the spiritual warfare over our ideology in terms of what it means to be free, what it means to be sovereign here in the homeland. Again, all this Aries energy, which I have talked about in the 4th house of the United States natal chart, I've talked about this in recent videos. So this Mars transit is really about to trigger every war chord in our collective chart. And we're approaching a karmic deadline where we're going to have to choose. Do we want to keep playing someone else's game, or are we ready to break the contract? I encourage you to keep watching the skies and question the script. And make sure you are following me for more decoded astrology on power, propaganda, and the path to freedom.